What if I told you that some of the most productive food plants on the planet are also the ones most people completely overlook? Not because they're rare or expensive, but because nobody talks about them the way they deserve to be talked about. These aren't your typical tomatoes or lettuce. These are vines. Perennial vines. The kind you plant once in your backyard, and they just keep feeding you, year after year, without you having to lift much of a finger. One of them has been quietly feeding families in tropical regions for over 200 years, and chances are you've never even heard its name. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which 9 vines to put in the ground, and why your garden will never be the same again. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening, the place where we make sure your garden works harder than your grocery bill. If you're new here, so glad you found us. This channel is all about growing real food in real spaces without draining your wallet. And if you've been rocking with us for a while, you already know we don't do fluff here. We dig deep, we keep it practical, and we always bring you something worth your time. Real quick before we get into it, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right now. We drop new gardening content every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you currently grow any vines in your garden? I genuinely want to know. Now let's get into it. Vine 1, Chayote. This vine is one of the most underrated food producers you will ever put in the ground. One plant, given the right conditions, can produce hundreds of fruits in a single season. Hundreds. And it comes back every year from the same root system. The fruit tastes like a mild, slightly crisp cucumber crossed with a zucchini. You can eat it raw, cook it, stuff it, or throw it in a soup. But here's what most people don't know. Every single part of this plant is edible. The young shoots, the leaves, the roots, and even the seeds. You're not just growing a fruit. You're growing a full food source. It loves to climb. Give it a fence, a trellis, or even an old tree, and it will take off. It thrives in warm climates but can be grown in containers in cooler areas and brought in during winter. One chayote fruit planted directly in the soil is all you need to start. That's it. No seeds to order. No nursery required. Just one fruit from a market, buried halfway in the soil at a slight angle, and you're in business. Vine 2, Passion Fruit. Now passion fruit is one that people have heard of, but very few actually grow. And that's a mistake, because this vine is a machine. Once established, a passion fruit vine produces fruit for 5 to 7 years or more with very little attention. The flowers alone are enough to make your garden look like something out of a magazine. Purple, white, and absolutely wild looking. But those flowers turn into fruit that sells for a lot of money in grocery stores, and you'll have more than you can eat. The flavor is tart, tropical, and unlike anything else you'll grow. You can juice it, mix it into drinks, make jam, or eat it straight from the shell with a spoon. It also attracts pollinators like crazy, which is a bonus for everything else growing in your garden. It grows fast. In the right climate, it can cover an entire fence in one season. It prefers well-drained soil and full sun, and once it gets going, it rarely needs watering unless you're in a serious drought. Vine 3, Malabar Spinach. Here's where things get interesting. Most people think of spinach as a cool weather crop that bolts the moment summer hits. But Malabar spinach does the complete opposite. It thrives in heat. It actually needs heat to grow its best. Technically it's not a true spinach, but it behaves like one in the kitchen. The leaves are thick, glossy, and slightly mucilaginous, which basically means they have a slight gel texture when cooked. Perfect for stews, stir-fries, and soups. Raw in salads, they taste mild and fresh. This vine climbs beautifully and produces deep red or green stems depending on the variety. Both are edible and both are stunning to look at. It self-seeds in warmer climates, meaning once you have it, it tends to come back on its own without you doing a thing. For gardeners in hot humid areas, this is your answer to the leafy green problem. Most greens give up in the summer heat. Malabar spinach is just getting started. Hold on real quick. If you're finding this helpful and you haven't liked this video yet, please go ahead and tap that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more gardeners who need this information. And if you're watching this and thinking, I need to send this to someone with a garden, do it. Share it. You might just change how they grow food forever. Now back to the vines. Vine 4, Lablab bean. This one goes by a lot of names. Hyacinth bean, Egyptian bean, Indian bean. But whatever you call it, it's a powerhouse. Lablab is one of the oldest cultivated plants in human history. It has been feeding people across Africa and Asia for thousands of years. And yet somehow, most Western gardeners only know it as an ornamental plant because of its purple flowers and deep violet seed pods. Yes, it's gorgeous. But it's also food. The young leaves, young pods, and seeds are all edible when properly cooked. The mature seeds need to be boiled and the water changed because they contain compounds that need to be cooked out, similar to kidney beans. Once prepared correctly though, they are nutritious, filling, and incredibly satisfying. As a perennial in warm climates, it comes back every year. In cooler climates, it performs as a fast-growing annual that reseeds itself. Either way, you plant it once and it tends to take care of itself from there. Vine 5, Groundnut vine. Now this one. This one is special. Apios americana, commonly called the groundnut vine or hopness, is a native North American plant that produces edible tubers underground while the vine climbs above ground. Indigenous communities across North America ate this plant for centuries. It was actually one of the foods that helped early settlers survive their first winters. The tubers taste like a nutty, earthy potato. You roast them, boil them, or slice and fry them. The protein content is significantly higher than a regular potato, which makes this a seriously valuable food plant. Above ground, the vine produces clusters of small pinkish-purple flowers that are also edible and have a mild bean flavor. Below ground, the tubers multiply on their own year after year without you replanting anything. It prefers moist soil and partial shade, which actually makes it useful for spots in your garden where other food plants struggle. If you have a shady corner near a water source, the groundnut vine will thrive right there. Vine 6, Chinese yam. The Chinese yam is a climber that gives you food from two directions at the same time, and that alone makes it worth growing. Underground, it produces long starchy tubers that can be eaten raw or cooked. That is unusual because most root vegetables need cooking. Eaten raw, they have a crisp texture like jicama. Cooked, they become soft, slightly sticky, and filling. They're used in soups, stir-fries, and as a side dish across East Asian cuisines. Above ground, this vine also produces small aerial tubers called bulbils that grow right on the stems. These little nuggets drop off when ripe and can be eaten or replanted to grow new vines. It's essentially a plant that reproduces and feeds you at the same time with almost zero effort from you. It's also one of the most cold-hardy edible vines you can grow, handling temperatures well below freezing once the roots are established. If you're in a colder climate and want a productive perennial vine, the Chinese yam deserves a very serious look. Vine 7, Scarlet runner bean. The scarlet runner bean is one of those plants that looks like it belongs in a flower garden but produces like it belongs in a vegetable patch. The flowers are bright fire red, almost electric. Hummingbirds love them. Bees love them. Your neighbors will ask you what that gorgeous climbing plant is, and you'll casually mention that you also eat it. Young pods are harvested and eaten like green beans. If you let the pods mature, the seeds inside are large, deep purple streaked beans that can be dried and stored for the winter. The roots in milder climates are perennial and will re-sprout every spring. In colder areas, you can dig up the tuberous roots, store them over winter, and replant in spring. This is a fantastic dual-purpose vine for smaller gardens. It feeds you, it beautifies your space, and it pulls nitrogen back into the soil at the same time, which means it's quietly improving your garden while it grows. Vine 8, Luffa. Yes, Luffa. The same loofah you use in the shower. Here's what most people don't know. Luffa is a vine in the cucumber family, and the young fruits are completely edible. When harvested small, they taste mild, slightly sweet, and cook beautifully in stir-fries, soups, and curries. They're a staple vegetable in parts of Asia and Africa. If you leave the fruit on the vine to fully mature and dry, it becomes the natural sponge you already know. So you're essentially growing both food and a household product on the same vine. It's a vigorous climber that loves heat and full sun. In warm climates it behaves as a perennial. In cooler areas it reseeds itself so reliably that once you grow it once, you'll likely always have it somewhere in your garden. The seeds are easy to save, easy to share, and incredibly easy to grow. This is one of those vines that makes you feel like you figured out a cheat code. Vine 9, Akebia, Chocolate Vine. Saving something truly unexpected for last. Akebia quinata, known as the chocolate vine, is a semi-evergreen climber that produces one of the most unusual fruits in the plant world. The fruit looks like a thick purple sausage that splits open when ripe to reveal white flesh surrounding dark seeds. The flavor is lightly sweet, almost like a mild dragon fruit, with a faint vanilla hint. The flowers smell faintly of chocolate, which is where the name comes from. It's also one of the easiest vines to establish. It tolerates shade better than almost any other fruiting vine. It handles cold winters. It's not particularly fussy about soil. And once it gets established in the right spot, it's essentially unstoppable. In some regions it can spread aggressively, so it's worth researching how it behaves in your specific area before planting. But managed well, it is one of the most rewarding and conversation-starting plants you will ever add to your garden. So there you have it. 9 vines that you plant once and that keep feeding you season after season. No starting over. No replanting. No going back to the nursery every spring just to grow the same things you grew last year. What makes these vines so powerful is not just what they produce. It's the fact that they build your garden over time. They get stronger, more productive, and more established with every passing year. That's the kind of growing that actually changes how you relate to your space. Start with one. Just one vine from this list. Get it in the ground this season, give it something to climb, and watch what happens. Then come back and tell me about it in the comments. Speaking of which, I want to hear from you right now. Which vine from this list are you most excited to try? Drop it in the comments below. And if you're already growing any of these, tell me how it's going. I read every single comment and I genuinely love hearing what's happening in your gardens. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button before you leave. It takes 1 second and it means more than you know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a really good time to do that. We're building something real here on Earthly Gardening, and I want you to be part of it. Until next time, keep your hands in the soil and your roots going deep. I'll see you in the next one.